Hey folks, Boogs here, back with another Armour Brief video. Now today we'll be talking about a new addition to the game that comes in the form of the Canadian M113A3 TLAV. This vehicle was added recently along with some other vehicles for the Canadian Forces, and it is classed as an APC. Before we get started, I wanted to thank people for the views, likes, comments on the last video. We may upload some gameplay from this vehicle separately to this brief, but only if it comes up in a match. The reason for this will come later. Anyway, let's jump into it. The M113A3 TLAV is a variant of the M113 Armoured Personnel Carrier. So, for the purposes of this brief, I will talk about the history and design of the M113, then discuss what differences are present in the TLAV version. So, the M113 was built by FMC Corporation and in 1961 was sent to the US Army to replace their M59 APCs. In 1962, the vehicle issued to the South Vietnamese Army saw combat. This was the first battlefield deployment of the M113. Interestingly, the M113 was the first combat vehicle made with an aluminium hull to be mass-produced. This choice of metal made it light, even though the aluminium had to be very thick to resist small arms rounds. With this reduced weight, it was able to be transported by air and be somewhat amphibious. While the M113 has been widely replaced in frontline roles, many still exist as combat ambulances, command vehicles, or as engineer vehicles. For example, alongside Bradley's, 6,000 M113s are still in service with the US's Heavy Brigade combat teams. From the success of the vehicle, a large variety of variants were created that continue to see wider use with the US Army and 50 other countries around the world. Thus, it is considered one of the most widely distributed APCs of all time. Even though the US stopped production in 2007, other variants are licensed, used and produced elsewhere, including the Canadian Army. The design of the base M113 is somewhat basic. It weighs 12.3 tons, has between 28 and 40 mm thick armour and is powered by a Detroit diesel 275 horsepower diesel engine. This engine gives the vehicle a top speed of 42 mph on land, 3.6 while swimming, and an operational range of 300 miles. The vehicle is versatile in its ability to mount weapons. For example, it can carry a single 50 cal Browning, a Mark 19 40mm grenade launcher, and or a M47 Dragon or BGM-71 TOW anti-tank guided missile. In addition, the vehicle could also mount cannons ranging from 20mm to 105mm, while still retaining the ability to transport troops. Under the Canadian APC Life Extension Program, 158 M113A2 vehicles that were issued by a contract made in 2000 would be upgraded to the newer M113A3 variant, or TLAV variant. This version included a more powerful engine, upgraded suspension, larger fuel tanks, extra steel armour, a steel cage, and the Cadillac Gauge 1 meter turret. This turret housed a 50 cal M2 Browning machine gun and a C6 GPMG as a coaxial gun. Right, with that done, let's take a look at the seats and in-game details you're likely to experience. Now for the driver, as mentioned in the design section, this vehicle is much lighter than vehicles like the Bradley. The benefits of this weight carry through into the game. The vehicle is quite quick off the line, reaching its top speed of 57 km/h in a short time. It must be noted though, this top speed is only achievable on flat ground, but it can quite easily top that when moving over hilly terrain. Its handling is very nice. As with most tracked vehicles, it has oversteer. This differs to the characteristics of a wheeled vehicle like the Striker and BTR, which both suffer from severe understeer. Getting them round a corner is a bit of a chore. The M113A3 is not, however. It quite happily makes tight turns at high speed, but since oversteer is present, the driver must be cautious that he doesn't spin out. The driver also has to deal with a very weak vehicle overall. It's similar in many respects to the MTLB-6MA, in the sense that it has 1000 HP and can be penetrated by 50 cal all round. That being said, drivers may have fun playing with the speed and maneuverability of this vehicle, but they should not get carried away. It cannot tank light anti-tank shots, and will evaporate when faced with heavy anti-tanks. Think of yourself as a scimitar with a worse weapon. Now the interesting thing about the gunner seat is the use of the 50 cal and the 7.62mm coaxial. This ensures that the gunner has plenty of ammunition to choose from, since the 50 caliber rounds have 5 100 round boxes and the coaxial has 5 250 round boxes. This further adds to the purpose of the vehicle as simply a scout or armoured transport. The 50 cal allows it to at least pose some danger to other APCs, but the 7.62mm gives the vehicle extra ammo for anti-infantry roles. The use of this 7.62 further reduces the amount of 50 cal ammo that is used up and can be saved for vehicles. The gunner should also note that both guns are not stabilised. It takes a total of 8 seconds to rotate the turret 360 degrees, each belt takes 10 seconds to reload, and there are 2 sets of smoke launchers to use as concealment. Now in real life, the M113 can actually transport between 11 and 15 troops, including the crew, depending on the variant. However, in-game we can only seat 9 troops, plus 2 crew. This means that you can comfortably fit a squad in the vehicle, which is enough for the game anyway. Another couple of points, like other American IFVs and APCs, the troops exit from the rear, giving them better protection when dismounting. Also, the vehicle can carry 600 ammo, which will comfortably resupply a HAB or a full squad that is being transported. So let's wrap this up and I'll present my thoughts on the vehicle. Overall, this vehicle should be taken at face value. It is small, lightly armoured, and has an unstabilised 50 cal. This makes it limited in its capabilities. It is very much akin to the MT-LB-6MA in its armour and troop capacity, and similar to the Scimitar in its manoeuvrability. This means that the vehicle should not be used aggressively as it cannot face off with other IFVs or APCs. However, it is quick enough and small enough that it can be used to quickly extract or deploy a squad into an area or near a capture point. Though, don't expect to push in all the way with your infantry as anti-tanks will tear it to shreds, especially if you lose a track. In my personal opinion, it's a fun, little niche vehicle that drives well, but it's nothing special. I think the 5 ticket cost of this vehicle reflects my experience of its performance. It is unlikely that, if played how it's designed, it will survive the entire match. Some risks must be taken in order to assist your team, but if you're destroyed, it's not a huge impact on your ticket count. Let's not also forget that the guns are unstabilised. This, combined with its high speed and quick manoeuvring, makes it very difficult to shoot on the move. The gunner must be quick to decide when to stop so he can get accurate fire on target, but the gunner must expect some delay and instability when the vehicle begins to slow down. Drivers, listen close for your instructions as the gunner is almost completely useless until the vehicle stops. And with that, I think we're done. Thank you all for watching, folks. As always, drop us a like if you enjoyed this video, comment with your opinions and your experiences, and if you want to be kept up to date with when we're playing and uploading, consider subscribing or join our Discord. At present, we're still not open to new member applications, but this will change in the coming weeks and you'll be notified when things change. Thanks again, folks. Boogs out.